Today we're going to have a lesson called the stolen identity. Again, the stolen identity. All right. So first we're going to open up, all right, with the book of Luke, chapter 21, right? Because Christ has prophesied something, right, that will happen throughout the New Testament. All right. So this is the book of Luke, chapter 21 and verse number 20. So this is a prophecy of Christ prophesying about 70 AD. Again, year 70 AD, what will happen to the Israelites. All right, so this is Luke chapter 21 and verse 20. It says, "And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is not." Right, so he's telling the Israelites, he's telling the Jews, when you see Jerusalem compared with armies, right, that means your destination is near, right? It says, verse 21, "Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains." What mountains is he talking about? You can take that to Matthew 2 and 13. Remember when Christ told Joseph to take the child and marry and flee into Egypt, right? So when he says flee into the mountains, he was telling them to flee into Africa, right? Flee towards northeast Africa, right? Which Jerusalem is Africa, but flee towards Egypt. It says, "And let them which are in the midst of it depart out," right? "And let not them that are in the countries enter into thereinto," right? So the people, all right, which in the midst of it, he said depart out. He said leave this place, because what armies is he talking about? Roman, right? The Roman Empire, right? It says, "And let not them that are in the and let not them that are in the countries enter thereinto." Even the people that's outside, he said, don't let them come back to this place, because Rome is coming to slaughter you guys. That's what Christ was prophesying about. In year 70 AD, he was prophesying about 70 AD, after his death, right? Verse 22, it says, "For these be the days of vengeance, that all things which are written may be fulfilled." What was written that it may be fulfilled? That the Israelites will have to go into slavery for breaking the commandments. That our identity will be changed. That we will be colonized. That we'll have yokes of iron around our necks. That we'll have to depend on a nation for everything. And that we'll go into slavery on ships. All right? That all things may be fulfilled. But woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Why? Because the parents will have to hold their children, right, and have to flee into the mountains. It would be hard for the parents to be running with their child. That's why he said, "Woe unto them that give suck with child." Woe to them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. For there shall be a great distress in the land, and wrath upon this people. What people? The Israelites. Right? Verse 24. "And they shall fall by the edge of the sword, and shall be led away captive into all nations." The Israelites will be led away captive into all nations. Okay? "And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles." Right? Again, the lesson today is called the stolen identity. Jerusalem will be trodden down of the Gentiles. Okay? Until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. Now, and I don't understand how Christian pastors or preachers or anybody haven't read that text, because all they believe in is the New Testament. They don't believe in the Old Testament. They don't even believe anything in the Bible. They just have it, I guess, for some think they get props behind it. But it clearly Christ is telling you that the people over there in the land are the Gentiles, right? The Gentiles, right? So now, Christ prophesied about 70 AD. Now, this is a book called, right, From Babylon to Timbuktu. This is by Rudolph R. Winsler. Again, by Rudolph R. Winsler. I do not own copyrights to this. This is not my book. It belongs to the author, Rudolph R. Winsler. So we're going to go inside the book, right? And we're going to page 84, right? Babylon to Timbuktu, right? And I'm going to read the highlighted part, all right? It says in 70 AD, and this is what I just read out of the book of Luke. Christ prophesied, remember, the Israelites would have to flee out of Jerusalem because the Roman Empire was coming to slaughter them, and they would be led away captive into all nations. And the Gentiles would be in that spot. Again, okay. In 70 AD, General Vespasian and his son, Titus, put an end to the Jewish state with great slaughter, right? Because they slaughtered our people with a great slaughter during the period of the military governors of Palestine. Many outrage and atrocities were committed against the residue of the people. Against who? The Israelites. During the period from Pompey to Julius, it has been estimated that over 1 million Jews, okay, that Christ was prophesying about, fled into Africa. 1 million Jews fled into Africa. Let's go back to the book of Luke, right? 21 and 21. Let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains. That's what Christ prophesied about. Let me read this again. 1 million Jews fled into Africa. That's what Christ was talking about. Fleeing from Roman persecution and slavery. Right? Roman persecution and slavery. That's what they was fleeing from. That's why Christ said they're going to be led away captive unto all nations. What is captive? Slavery. Right? I got the book. The slave market was full of black Jewish slaves. Right? So the Israelites were black people. Right? Which is the so-called African Americans today and Latinos. Blacks and Latinos. Right? I'm going to say it that way. Blacks and Latinos. Right? So, we got that out the way. So yes, the Israelites are the people over here in America. Of course, we scattered in Haiti, right, Puerto Rico, and all over the four corners of the earth. We're scattered. We're not just in America, right? So the people over there are Gentiles, right? Matter of fact, I got more. Hold on, give me a second. This prophecy and all the residue of the prophecies contained in Deuteronomy 28, 15 and 16 befell the black Jews after they disobeyed the laws of God. That's how we got over here, right? And of course, when you read verse 68, it tells you that the Jews went over here slavery on ships, right? Many nations transported the Jews into slavery. Many nations did that, all right? And the sons of Israel transmigrated to every continent, right? We were scattered into all nations, right? So you might want to check this book out, right? So the Israelites were black Jews, right? Excuse me, the people that Christ was speaking to were the black Jews. The Israelites are all the 12 tribes of Israel, all right? So now we understand what Christ was talking about in the book of Luke. He told them to flee into Africa, right? What happened when we fled into Africa? Let's go to the prophecy. Let's go to the, and how do we end up on this side of the world? Of course, it was slave ships, right? Again, the stolen identity. Let's speed up a little bit. Let's go to the book of Joel, all right? So this is the book of Joel, chapter 3. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat means the valley of decision, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage, Israel. Right? God is pleading with these other nations, which you so-called blacks and Latinos. Why you think that war? Why you think we're on the brink of World War III? This is all for your deliverance. So you better link up and get out of these Christian churches because they're telling you a lie. We are the Israelites and God is going to deliver us. Whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. It's going to tell you who done it. And they have cast lots for my people and have given a boy for an harlot and sold a girl for wine that they might drink that was raping our women. Right? Yeah, what have you to do with me? Now it's about to tell you who done it. O Tyre and Zidon. These are Africans. All right? And all the coast of Palestine. These are Arabs. So in school they tell you Africans sold Africans. No, Africans sold Israelites. Right? That's if they so don't you think they would have came back for us by now? Most of them don't even like us. Because they understand we're not the same people. we're the Israelites the Bible speaks about, right? What have you to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine, and the Arabs? Will you render me a recompense? And if you recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? God said, you try to pay me for what you did to my people, selling them, it's going to be upon your own head. You can't pay $1 to me for what you did to my people that's scattered, all right? Because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. The Grecians are the so-called white man, right? So African and Arabs sold us to the white man, right? That ye might remove them far from their border. We're far from Jerusalem. Behold, I will raise them out of their place whether you have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. God said he's going to return and get us out of this place, wherever they sold us at. All right? And I will sell your sons and daughters in the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the cities, to a people far off, for the Lord has spoken. So God said that he's going to return and he's going to gather us out of this land, because they have stolen our identity. Right? They stolen our identity. Right? It's the book of Micah, chapter 2 and verse number 2. And they covet fields and take them by violence. Esau did this. The so-called white man, he's Edom, Esau. He covered fields and took them by violence. And houses and take them away. He took houses. He take anything he want to take. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. He stole your identity. He took on saying that he called himself Jewish. When you add ISH at the end of a word, that means pertaining to, right? He's letting you know every day he's not the real Jew. He stole that. That's in the Bible, right? Again, the stolen identity, right? And it's time for you Israelites to wake up and come back to the Most High, right? Come back to the Most High God. He stole the identity, right? But the Most High God is going to deal with that, right? He is going to deal with that man, right? Now, let's go over to the book of Zephaniah 2 and 1. It says, gather yourselves together. Yeah, gather together, O nation not desired. Now, God wants the 12 tribes, while we're scattered, to gather ourselves together. But we don't want to do that. You want to keep killing one another. You want to keep fighting one another, right? You want to keep shooting one another, stabbing one another, hating one another. You can't do that. That's why we don't know who we are, because we've broken the commandments of the Lord. You got books to prove it, man. But we got to wake up, Israel. You got to know who you are. That God only came back for you. That's it. Christ is telling you he was sent. That's why Christ was sent for you, because you were scattered. Right? But now, when you read the prophecies, right, God is going to bring the 12 tribes back together. Let's go to Ezekiel 37 and 22. It says, and I will make them one nation in the land upon the mount of Israel. Why? Because we broke up we went into all nations, right? God said he can make us one nation, meaning the Jews, Judah, Benjamin, and Levi. Those 3 tribes are Jews, and the other tribes are the northern kingdom. We split during the book of Kings, right? And God said he's going to make us one nation. That means bring us back together, right? That's why Christ said, I have other sheep which are not of this fold. Why? Because he was around the Jews. He was talking about the northern kingdom of Israel. That wasn't of the fold of the Jews, right? But that's deep into prophecy, right? And one king shall be king over them all, which is Christ. And they shall be no more 2 nations, right? They let you know we're 2 nations. Because we split again in the book of Kings, Jeroboam and Rehoboam, right? Neither shall they be divided into 2 kingdoms anymore at all. You got southern kingdom, which is the Jews. You got northern kingdom, right? Which is the other tribes of Israel. So God said he's going to bring us back into one head. Why he ain't mentioned the Gentiles, which is the blood Gentile? No, he's not talking about them. He's talking about you. He's going to make you one nation. Because the whole book is talking about the 12 tribes. How do I know that? Because God has put his spirit on his servants to bring this truth out in his last days. Who is the northern kingdom of Israel? Prove it, prove it, prove it. No problem. Right? No problem. Alright? So first off, let's go to the book of Isaiah. We're gonna move a little quick now. So I need y'all to keep up with it. Alright? So this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 7. Alright? And verse number 9. Okay, let's start at 9. Alright? Now let's start at 8. For the head of Syria is Damascus, right? And the head of Damascus is Rezin. And within 65 years shall Ephraim be broken. God said the northern kingdom of Israel, that's Ephraim, going to be broken, right? That it be not a people. God said that wasn't even a people. That was broken. Why? Because they kept going into idolatry, right? And the head of Ephraim is Samaria. Let's go into the book of John chapter 4. So let's see who it is, Samaria woman, because God said the head of Ephraim is Samaria. Let's go to the book of John chapter 4 and verse number 7. Right? Because Christian pastors think that was a Gentile woman. She was of the northern kingdom of Israel. Right? So let's do this. John chapter 4 and verse 1. Remember, the head of Ephraim is Samaria. So that means Ephraim would dwell in Samaria. Right? There cometh a woman of Samaria to draw water. Jesus said unto her, Give me to drink. For his disciples were gone away into the city to buy meat. So it was just Christ and the woman. Then said the woman of Samaria unto him, How is it that thou, being a Jew, ask of me, which am a woman of Samaria? For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaria. Now, why did she say that? Why did she say the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans? Why? Because we have to go into prophecy. What did the prophecy say about the Jews and Samaria? Right? It's Hosea chapter 4. What did the prophet say about the Jews and the northern kingdom? Hosea chapter 4 and 17. Ephraim is joined into idols. Let him alone. God said, leave Ephraim alone. So the woman understood that Jews and the northern kingdom, they didn't really like each other. Right? That'll help you explain Isaiah 11 and 11. Y'all get the understanding of that. But the Jews and the northern kingdom, they didn't get along. They had no dealings with one another. Right? That's why she said, when you go to the book of John, chapter 4, all right, let's go back. For the Jews have no dealings with the Samaritans. Remember, the head of Ephraim is who? Samaria. So she understood that the Jews didn't deal with northern kingdom like that. That's why she said the Jews had no dealing with the Samaritans. Jesus said unto her, If thou knowest the gift of God, and who it is that says unto thee, Give me to drink, thou wouldst have asked of him, and he would have given thee living water. The woman said unto him, Sir, thou hast nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. For whence then hast thou that living water? Art thou greater than our father Jacob? Who are the children of Jacob? Yes, who are the children of Jacob? The 12 tribes of Israel. That's what she said, are you greater than our father Jacob? Jacob's name was changed to Israel. Right? Jacob had 12 sons. So how's that both of their father? Christ came out of the tribe of Judah. So that means she was of the northern kingdom. She was of Israel. Art thou greater than everybody that come out of Jacob? Esau, they come out of Jacob. That was Jacob's brother. Right? That God hated. Right? So she was of the northern kingdom. It tells you Ephraim would dwell in Samaria. Art thou greater than our father Jacob? She was of the northern kingdom. Do your study and your research, boy. Right? Art thou greater than our father Jacob? Right? Which gave us this well. Well, this sounds so possessive and personal. Why is that? And drank thereof himself and his children and his cattle. Right? So this woman understand. That was just an example. I ain't gonna be up here long. Right? We are the 12 tribes of Israel. And I got more coming soon. Right? A lot more coming soon. Right? Art thou greater than our father Jacob? Right? So that is the northern kingdom of Israel. Right? The northern kingdom of Israel. Let's get some more. Right? Because I'm here to prove that these so-called Latinos and Puerto Ricans and all of them, right, descend, right, of the northern kingdom of the house of Israel. All right? They descend of that people. This is Hosea chapter 7 and 8. It says, Ephraim, that's proof that she lives in the northern kingdom. He has mixed himself among the people. They said the northern kingdom, they mixed themselves among the people, right? Because all the tribes of Israel were dark-skinned people, right? But he said Ephraim, this northern kingdom, not the Jews are dark-skinned black, but this northern kingdom mixed themselves among the people. Ephraim is a cake not turned. What is a cake not turned? One side dark, one side light. That's the Puerto Ricans today. A cake not turned, right? That's the Dominicans. That's the Native American Indians, right? That's the Mexican, which is from the tribe of Issachar. The Ephraim is a cake not turned. This northern kingdom that Paul is going to preach to is a cake not turned. One side, when you don't turn a cake, it's going to be black at the bottom and light at the top. So you put that together, it's like coffee. When you put milk in coffee, it don't comes out dark as you think it will be. Do the math, boy. Excuse me, I'm just a little excited. It don't turn off as dark as it come out. Black is stronger. Right? You start to put the milk in, it become lighter. Right? That's why I said when you mingle with these other tribes, you start to diminish your strength. You're taking your strength away. You can't do that. It's like coffee. It's like my coffee dark. Right? Ephraim is a cake not turned. Right? That is these northern kingdoms today. But again, I forgot the lesson. The stolen identity. So what is that telling y'all? These people that you see walking around in America, Mexico, Haiti, the Caribbean islands, right? The Solomon Islands, are the 12 tribes of Israel. And we hate each other. We got to come back together, Israel. I just proved to you that we're the Israelites. Of course, when you read Deuteronomy, you can look at my other lesson, but you can look at the curse of Deuteronomy, the 28th chapter. You can prove that we're the Israelites, right? But that's who we are. And we got to repent. Come back to these commandments, man. We got to come back to God. Come back to the Most High. All right? Come back to the Most High. The choice is yours. The stolen identity. All right? Why did the white man hate us? Because y'all wonder that, right? I got the answer for you. Genesis. No. That's another topic. Let's go to Revelation 2 and 9. Let's stick with the topic. Revelation 2 and 9. So I just proved that we're the Israelites, right? And the northern kingdom, which is indigenous descent people. Revelation 2 and 9. I know thy works in tribulations and poverty, but thou art rich. God said, you know your works in tribulation, but we're rich, Israel. And I know the blasphemy of them which say they are Jews. Who call themselves Jews? The people of Israel today. They're not Jews. God said that's blasphemy. And are not, but are the synagogue of Satan. God said they are the synagogue of Satan. God said that's the devil. That's what he said. No, he didn't. He said the synagogue of Satan. Okay. Verse 10. Fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. God said don't fear what you're going to suffer. Remember Christ said we're going to suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. Who filled up the prison houses? Who? God said the devil gonna. I ain't seen a man with horns. The spiritual demon come down and put nobody in jail yet. And the white man said, look, he's red with horns. I see a red man without horns doing it. That's Edom. God said he's red. When you read Genesis, the 25th chapter, right? And the 25th verse, right? The devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, and that you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee the crown of life. Right? You got to stick through this thing. God said the devil gonna cast you in prison. That's the synagogue of Satan. That's who that is. That's the devil. So let's come back, Israel. The stolen identity. Make it make sense. The Jews are black now. Just read you a history book. Right? But I ain't gonna get too far deep into that. I'm gonna get off and I'm gonna say a little bit. We're going to my next lesson. But with that, Israel, I say shalom.